Hi there, welcome to another episode of Cards That Crit. Today we are talking about two powerful cards, WorldFire and Teferi's Protection. First up is WorldFire. This is a sorcery card with a cost of 6 generic and 3 red mana. When you cast WorldFire, you exile all permanents. That includes artifacts, enchantments, and planeswalkers. Then each player exiles their hand, graveyard, and their life total becomes 1. This is a game-ending card that can completely reset the board and give all players a fresh start. It's a high-risk, high-reward play that can turn the tide of the game. If your opponent has a way to protect themselves, you could end up doing a lot more harm than good. Speaking of ways to protect yourself, let's take a look at the next card in this combo, Teferi's Protection. This is an instant card with a cost of 2 generic and 1 white mana. When you cast Teferi's Protection, until your next turn, your life total can't change and you have protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out, you then exile Teferi's Protection. This means that your opponents can't target you or permanents with spells or abilities, and your life total can't be changed. This is a great card to have in your hand if you're in a tight spot and need a little bit more protection. It's especially useful here as it allows you to completely avoid the effects of WorldFire, setting you up for victory on your next turn while leaving your opponents to try and rebuild their entire board state. Now let's take a look at some commander recommendations. First up, we have Jodah Archmage Eternal. This commander costs 1 generic, blue, white, and red, and allows us to pay Wooburg, white, blue, black, red, and green, rather than the mana cost of spells we cast. This would drop the casting cost of WorldFire from a total of 9 mana down to 5 mana, allowing us to execute our combo much earlier than we otherwise would be able to. This commander also gives you access to all 5 colors, allowing you to be very creative in how you want to build the rest of the deck. Next, we have Narset Enlightened Master. For 3 generic, blue, red, and white, on attack, Narset will trigger and allow us to exile the top 4 cards of our library. Until the end of our turn, we can cast non-creature cards like WorldFire and Teferi's Protection without paying their mana cost. This notorious extra turns commander would be great here as it allows us to free cast both pieces of our combo, including some cards that allow for top deck manipulation like Scroll Rack, can set us up to execute our combo without paying any mana at all. One final recommendation here are foretell cards. These cards are played from exile, allowing them to also avoid the effects of WorldFire. If you have no setup, something like Alrund's Epiphany will allow you to take an extra turn and create 2 1/1 flyers that will surely finish the job. Delayed Blast Fireball is probably my favorite finisher here. If we foretell this before we play our combo and it gets back to our turn, for 6 mana we can cast it and deal 5 damage to each opponent. This will immediately wipe out our opponents and end the game. So that's a quick breakdown of WorldFire and Teferi's Protection. These are 2 very different cards that can have a huge impact on the game depending on how you use them. Let me know what other commanders or cards you would use with this combo, and hit me with those crazy WorldFire stories. I would love to hear about them. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to see the next episode of Cards That Crit.